All right, friends, it's Timon, and we are back with a new video. You could say it's an educational video again. It has to do with motor units. You remember this guy, the crazy, the crazy old man, the 95-year-old man who's actually 60. I mean, he claims he's 60, but I think he's 95. But whatever. He talks about how you're gonna, I don't know, create more motor units or something like that, doing exercise. And he's upset because there was a scientific report that came out and debunked him, okay? It says that old people and sedentary people have the same amount of motor units. And that's true because motor units are only shared. It's shared along a vast array of muscle fibers, okay? When you activate them, like when you turn a knob on your door, opening a door, you're activating motor units because that's what they do. They help you. I mean, if you were to sever a nerve, that's it. You're done. You can't move anything in your body without nerves, right? It's kind of obvious. Hello. With nerve damage, you could get extremely weak with nerve damage or nerve dysfunction or something like that, or especially your spine. If you have an unhealthy spine, you're done. You're done when it comes to strength. You're done, dude. So, yeah, all these things are factors when it comes to strength. Even your muscle, if you lose muscle mass, you too will become weak. Why do you become weak if you lose muscle mass? Because the motor units don't have anywhere to proliferate. So if you have more muscle fiber, or let's just put it this way, if you have more muscle, is there not more places for the motor units to proliferate, giving you more force production? Yes. So if there's a reduction in muscle, then there's a reduction in motor unit. Okay, dude? So it's kind of obvious. Like it's there. You know what I mean? Without muscle, you can't have one without the other. They work kind of synergistically, okay? But whatever. Nobody, I think people, they just have it, they're gone in their head. So this is the guy right here. You know him. What's his name? The motor unit guy. This guy. His name is I Am Longevity. Remember? So the scientific report debunked him. He's all upset now. I don't know. Whatever. Does it really matter? So I'm going to go over this section. It's an overview from AI. They take it from, other reputable sites, whatever. It says here, the loss of motor units, the functional unit of muscle contraction. Yeah, that's the functional unit of muscle contraction, motor units. Begins slowly around the age of 60 and accelerates. The loss of it. So the loss of it, it begins slowly, and then what? Around the age of 60, it accelerates with advanced aging. So how are people online getting stronger, these old people around 50 lifting? How are they? They claim they're natural. How are they able to lift heavier and heavier then? See, that's questionable. I don't know. Maybe you need to look at maybe they're taking something fake. Maybe it's their lifting practices. I have no clue, okay? Everybody does their own thing online. I don't know what they're doing. But anyways, so gradual decline. So it says here, yeah, with advanced aging, this process is irreversible. But that crazy guy from I Am Longevity, he's trying to make you believe it's irreversible. And then, oh, what are you talking about? Oh, an athlete, they never tested me. They need to test an athlete. Bro, you don't get more of them, you don't get less of them, and then you lose them. You can only share them across a wide array of muscle fibers. That's it. I guess maybe he just doesn't understand that. So while some loss of motor units occurs throughout life, the rate of decline increases significantly after 60 years of age. And that's why old people, they lose a lot of their power. So the question is this. So what is going to make you stronger? Here's a question. I know that the motor units are declining. That's why I promote that you should build muscle. Why do I advocate that people build muscle? Why? Because the motor units have more places to proliferate. See what I mean? So you could wear off a lot of this decline for as long as you can, providing you have muscle. The question is this again. When you lose muscle, do you get weak Why do you get weak? Because there's nowhere for them to fucking proliferate. The motor units. Get it? Tony from I Am Longevity. You understand me? So when you have more muscle, even if you have a decline in the motor unit, but guess what? You can compensate. How? How do you compensate? How do people compensate that are crippled? They do other things, right? They compensate by doing this or doing that or whatever. How do you compensate for the loss of the motor unit so that you can have strength? By gaining more muscle, so you have more places for the motor units to proliferate in. Get it? See what I mean? So you could wear off this fucking weakness. Now, irreversible process. The loss of motor units is not something that can be easily, listen to the word, easily reversed. Functional consequences. The loss of motor units contributes to age-related declines in muscle mass. Yeah, that loss of motor units contributes to what? To age-related declines in muscle mass, strength, and overall function, overall physical function. So how do you combat that? With eccentric exercises. That's how. Duh. That's why they came up with bodybuilding. Now, factors influencing loss: genetics, lifestyle, including activity levels and diet. Yeah, these can all contribute. And overall health status can all influence the rate and extent of motor unit loss. So it can even accelerate a lot faster depending on your lifestyle. I don't know what you're doing there. So exercise and nutrition, while the loss is inevitable, yeah, it's unfortunate. It's the loss isn't inevitable. Okay, dude. Exercise, especially strength training and high protein diet, can what? Help slow down or even partially reverse the process. Listen to the word. It can partially reverse the process, the loss of them. That's what I discovered a little bit late in life. I didn't know that. I wish I knew that when I was younger. I would have continued lifting. I would have continued lifting eccentrically most of my life if I understood that. I never knew that you could lose these motor units. I thought, and I also thought that once you built muscle, it would stay. Well, if you build a muscle fiber per se, it technically stays, yes. But the contractile proteins, well, they can be dismantled. You understand me? They can go away. And as far as these nuclei, are they permanent? Yeah, to a degree, but they too can go away with time. So if you don't lift, if you don't do anything particularly in that field, then yes, it can go away. And you possibly could lose these motor units, and maybe a lot quicker than, faster than the way they would go away normally. Who the hell knows? I'm not really sure. I can't tell you for sure. You know what I mean? So yeah. So the NCBI here at the bottom, they tell you age-associated changes in motor unit physiology observations from the age-related loss begins by the 4th and 5th decade and is accompanied by a decline in muscle power, movement speed, and reaction. There you go. That's from NCBI. That's just a copy here. You could probably read this. Maybe I'll pop it up in my community section. This section here at the bottom, right there, the NCBI part. I don't know. You can read it for yourself. But I think you already get the picture. You understand me? So, yeah. I don't know what else to say there in that video, bro. All right. I'll see you in the next one. Tell me what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. See you in the next video. So, the longevity guy is kind of full of shit. You understand me? He just wants you jumping around in a field, activating. He's like, you're activating these motor units. They are active, but there's no place for them to proliferate in. The small amount of muscle that he has, there's nowhere for them to proliferate. So how is he jumping around? TRT. It's kind of obvious. He's taking TRT with that low body fat at 3%. Okay? I don't know too many people at 60 years old with that low body fat, unless of course he's bodybuilding, which he doesn't. He's not a bodybuilding kind of guy, or does aesthetic looking kind of guy. So it's kind of obvious he's taking something because he's all hyped up on like whatever, these PEDs. I'll see you in the next one, man. There's a lot of people that fake it online, but there's so many people that fake it. You understand me? It's hard to tell, I guess. You know, it's hard to tell. I mean, you want to believe, but it just, there's fake out there. There's a lot of fake stuff. People faking you out, okay, to make money on their YouTube channel. That's all it's all about. They wanna enslave more slaves. The more you can trick people, the more you can enslave more of these YouTube slaves. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, friends.